Yeah,
So
we've got
good evening,
67 here,
commissioners
Dave.
and Commissioner Haugley. Thank you all for joining us. Commissioner
Right.
Haugley, you have a quorum and it is 5:01.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's
Thank you
do
for
it. Sounds
Good
good.
evening,
thanks for
Renee.
yanking the chain as we speak here. So, anyway, very good. And Jennifer, let's go ahead and take roll call if she's the one that's going to take roll call. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please
Oh,
do
good
so.
evening,
Thank you.
Jennifer.
Good evening. It's 5:02. President Haugley,
Present.
Vice President Spikers,
Here.
Secretary Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Norris. Do not believe. Commissioner Herron,
Here.
CEO Jensen,
I am present.
CNE Ralston,
Here.
CFO Ritter,
Here.
CSO Moore,
Present, thank you.
CMO Storm,
Present. Thank you.
General Counsel Hauser.
Good evening.
Good evening. We have visitors from the State Auditor's Office this evening. And I believe that is all of us, except for a few attendees, SVH attendees. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Jennifer. Okay, let's go on to approval of the board meeting agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the board meeting agenda?
Can I just ask a question before we start? Because I wanted to know if there are a public that would like to participate in person. Is there a space provided for them?
Thank
Also,
you.
when we post our meetings, is there a place where they can click or on the link? Because that's
Yes.
something that,
Emma, what we
Yeah.
do is on our every single agenda, there is a way to contact Jennifer. And so every time we publish it, they just contact her and she makes arrangements to make sure that we have a space available for them to do that.
oh, okay, sounds good. All right, thank
Yep.
you. So they can
Thank you,
come.
Emma.
And if by chance somebody showed up the day of the meeting on site, we have people on site that could help accommodate them.
All right, thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
good. With that, seeking a motion to approve the board meeting agenda.
I move to approve the meeting agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Herron. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. All's in favor of the motion that's been approved and seconded to approve the board meeting agenda, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Abstaining? Let the record show that Commissioner Norris was not in attendance. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to public comment. Is there anybody here that would like to make a public comment? Is there anybody here that would like to make a public comment? And lastly, is there anybody here that would like to make a public comment? Hearing none. Moving on to consent agenda. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Commissioner Herron. Do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Go ahead and call for the approval of the motion that's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Opposed and abstaining, let the record show that Commissioner Norris is not present. Moving on to our next item on the agenda is patient story. Renee, is that you?
Yes, actually, I'm going to tag team with Trisha. And so as you guys are all getting to know Trisha Ralston, she's our Chief Nurse Executive. She's been an amazing addition to our team. And I would like to give her the opportunity each month to bring our patient stories to us and really connect us to our work. So I'll invite Trisha to share those stories with you.
Welcome, Trisha.
When did she start it?
She's
January
been over 90
20th.
days. Yeah, since the beginning
Oh.
of the year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So thanks for having me. Lovely to see you all this evening.
She was
Today I'm
here
gonna,
last month. Give me
Okay.
a rundown.
Hi, Tricia.
sorry, I missed that.
Was there a question?
No, I just said she was here last month giving us a nice story.
Yes.
Oh.
That is correct. The avalanche gentleman.
Mhm.
Actually, that may have been 2 ago now. All right. Well, anyway, I'm lovely to be here tonight. I'm going to talk about a patient's journey on the second floor, it's our medical floor, and who was admitted to our swing bed program. So, and this gentleman had repeated medical setbacks and significant mobility challenges. Um, and he found himself at a bit of a crossroads because he was unable to bear weight on his leg, and he was stalled in his recovery. He was not progressing. He was placed basically at risk for an early discharge by his insurance, so not by us. And despite not meeting his established rehab goals, that is what can happen. And so our team, everyone from our therapists, nurses, providers, recognized the urgency of his situation, and they had been working with him, but they remained steadfast in their commitment to his care. And through expert intervention, they successfully addressed his medical complications and worked closely with his orthopedist, who's out in the community, to secure approval for increasing his ambulation. At that point, he was able to turn around and just continue to progress tremendously. And this gentleman went from not being able to bear weight to walking down the hall at a pace that he once thought was unattainable. So not only did this just prevent this premature discharge and we were able to help him, but it also really was a beautiful moment with the staff of them all rallying around this gentleman, to the point that I happened to witness when we were all in our rounds, him walking by the room, and the entire room of about 10 to 15 people started cheering and clapping for him. So it was this really beautiful moment, and just a testament to the care that every staff member in this organization has for our patients and each other. And it just reminded, I think, everybody of why they're here and why we do what we do and how we take care of our community. So through that, I just wanted to share that story tonight.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. With that, any questions for Tricia by anybody? Hearing none. Okay. Let's go on to our commissioner business, and that's the Accountability Audit Exit Conference. Renee?
Yeah, I'm going to tee this up for Patrick, and he's going to invite our guests.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have Haji Adams and Carmen Law from the State Auditor's Office, who we worked with over the past several months on the accountability audit, and they will present their findings to the board today.
Right. Yes, thank you for having us today.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. All right. Everything looks good from my end, Carmen. Thank you. So yes, good evening, everybody. So we're here today to share results of the district's most recent accountability audit. My name is Haji Adams. I'm the audit manager, and I'm with Carmen Law, who's the audit lead, and then Zach Shelton was the supervisor on the audit as well. And then the presentation today is going to be a summary of the audit results, and to supplement that presentation, we have provided a packet of information for you all, and that includes copies of our draft audit report that will be issued, and then also the exit conference agenda for today. And then those follow these slides in your packet that you have in front of you as well. All right, Carmen, you can go to the next slide. All right. So one of the most important things about audits is their role in increasing trust in your district. So an audit lets you, staff, and others, such as the public, know if areas of operations are working properly, or if there's any improvements that can be made in the areas that we review and examine. And also having that third-party independent audit's important. It also increases the public's trust that the information presented by the district can be relied upon, and that the district's in compliance with state laws, rules, regulations, your own policies and procedures as well. And the results are made available to the public and then published on our website. And then last but not least, audits are designed to help you improve operations ultimately. So if there are any audit recommendations, they're there to assist the district in continuing to improve its efficiency and also effectiveness as well in its operations. So with that, I'll hand it over to Carmen, and she'll go over the results.
Thanks, Haji. So we conducted a 3-year accountability audit from January 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2023. If you're following along in the packet, our accountability report starts on page 3 of that packet, and the audit results start on page 6. So in those selected areas, district operations complied in all material respects with applicable state laws, regulation, and its own policies, and provided adequate support over the safeguarding of public resources. In keeping with general auditing practices, we do not examine every transaction, activity, policy, internal control, or area. As a result, no information is provided on areas that were not examined. Next slide, please. So here we have a summary of all the areas we looked at, starting with the self-insurance. We looked at the health and welfare program. We gained an understanding of the program and tested it to ensure it was in compliance with state laws. For payroll, we looked at bonuses and incentive payments and elective official compensation. We reviewed policies for bonuses and incentives, gained an understanding of controls over the different types of bonuses and incentives, and selected payments to test to ensure they were allowable per district policy. We also gained an understanding of controls over commissioners' pays and tested them with state laws. For accounts receivable collections, we gained an understanding of controls for patients' accounts that were outstanding as of year end, and how the district monitors their collection agencies and the processes for collecting on past due accounts. We also selected some past due accounts to ensure they were following district policies. We also reviewed open public meeting minutes for compliance with minutes, meetings, and executive sessions. We reviewed the minutes to ensure they were properly documented and followed state laws. For the financial condition, we reviewed for any indications of financial distress, and we did not note any out of the ordinary. Next slide, please. Oh yeah, pass it back to Haji for closing remarks.
All right, thank you. So the cost of our engagement is expected to be within the estimate that we provided at the beginning of the audit. So we definitely thank the district for its timely responses to our audit requests, allowed the audit to progress efficiently and remain within budget as well. And then we will have the next audit scheduled for late 2025. We'll start in October, actually, for the next accountability audit. And then also an estimate for the next audit has been provided in your exit packet as well. And we provide that to you all as a budgeting tool. Let me go to the next slide as well. So the audit reports are published on our website. We expect the report to be published in about a week from today. So you can sign up, be notified by email when the audit report's posted to the website. We've also provided a link for you all as well that you can use to sign up for alerts. You'll receive an email notification when the report's released, and also provided some instructions on how to locate the report on our website. Then we'll also be sending a customer service survey. So we just ask that you please provide us some feedback, as it helps us improve our services and also know how we can better meet your needs as well in the future. So with that, I'll hand it back to Carmen for some last remarks.
Yeah. So on this side, we would just like to thank Shauna and all of the district staff that helped us with our audit. They helped us provide timely responses to our request, which resulted in an efficient audit. So we would like to thank everybody who helped us throughout that process. And on the next slide, if you have any additional questions after our presentation today, feel free to reach out to Haji, the audit manager. His information is here, but it's also included into our exit packet. With that, is there any questions?
I do. I have one quick one. I noticed that you do not publish any recommendations. Were there any recommendations to staff on this?
Yes, we had some minor exit items that were provided to management, but nothing elevated above that.
What were they?
We had a,
Or do you have that, Carmen?
I can find it really quick.
Okay.
So we had one related to an annual submission. So since it was not due for this past 2023 year, but prior to that in 2021 and 2022, there were some late submissions, 34 days past our reporting requirement. So there was a minor recommendation on that to make sure it's submitted within the period. But did want to clarify that it was submitted on time for 2023.
Submissions, what do you mean submissions?
Yeah, so we have an annual report that are what the district's required to submit to our office. So that includes like your financial statements, any self-insurance documents, and any grants. I believe that
So
was
in 21 and 22, Commissioner Spikers, those were submitted late. We did submit them on time in 23 and this year as well. So that's what those recommendations were, to ensure that the process is in place to make sure that those are filed with the state auditor's office on time.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. I have a question.
Thank you.
In
Go
your
ahead,
general-
Commissioner Herron.
Yeah, in your general auditing practices, I see that you only examine not all transaction, but do you consider looking into charity care as well? Because that seems to be one of the things that is also important to know where we are on that.
Yes, so that is an area we can review as well, and we do rotate various areas to review. If that's something you'd like us to review on the next audit, we definitely can jot that down and as a potential area for the next audit cycle.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, there's usually a list, Commissioner Herron, that the state has, that they based on audits that they find when they're looking through and findings that they have, that they will look at other government agencies in those areas as well to make sure that is not a pervasive problem, and that if those agencies are out of compliance, that they can get in right compliance for that.
All right, thank you.
One of the questions that I would have would be simply really for the public that might have a question as to why there was such a extended period of time for this audit, 21 through 23. If I'm interpreting that information right, for 36 months, basically. If that's the case, can you share with us why there was an extended window of reporting?
Right. So we were able to do a multi-year audit because of your entity being a lower risk audit. So when all the COVID money had come out, we had to do lots of audits of other governmental entities. So we had to take a look at all of our audit inventory, and we were able to consolidate and do a multi-year audit for you all because of that low risk status there for your accountability audit, and get you caught up on the
Great.
next audit. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay. Thank you very much,
All right.
Carmen and Haji.
All right. Well, thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate everybody's time today. as
Thank
well.
you. And
Thank
thanks
you.
again to the finance team.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good rest of the day.
Have a good evening.
All right.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to move on to Renee, the CEO report.
Great, thank you.
You bet.
We have a lot going on. It has been a busy month since we've reported out last. And so as always, happy to answer any questions you might have as I go through my report. But I think hot off the press, if you haven't seen your email in the last hour, Director Poss just put out a press release announcing that we received $3.138 million from the capital budget, thanks to Representative Steele and Callan. And so we want to send our sincere gratitude and appreciation for that. That money is designated to help with the pre-construction costs for the hub, and will allow us to retain as much of our service lines as possible. Prior to that funding, we were looking at having to reduce some of the scope of our primary care, surgical services, and radiology. And this funding will allow us to preserve the majority of that. So we are very, very grateful and thankful. And we'll make sure when, if you can help me out, Nicole's going to put out some social media and tag our representatives, and if you can help pass that along and congratulate them and thank them so much for their investment in our community, we would really appreciate it. So
Would you please repeat the amount that Lisa Callahan?
yes, it was 3.138 million.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And
I-
Renee,
I-
would you please
I've got
share?
a question.
Go ahead, David.
Go ahead. Thank you. So I'm a little confused. You saying we were going to cut back on services unless we had the grant?
As we're going through the project scope, and the escalating costs with the pre-construction and the cost of issuance, we were going to be shelling some of our space and allowing it for future growth and having to do some of that later. And so what this does is it allows us to build that space out now. So it would have been a 33% reduction in primary care space and a 50% reduction in surgical space, but it doesn't inhibit any of the operations that we have planned for day one. It would just mean that as we were growing, that those would have to be built out later.
So is this discretionary funding from
No,
the
no,
legislature?
no, absolutely not. It is very has a very specific purpose. It helps with all of the pre-construction costs, and so that's groundwork, utilities, water retention, all of the things that are kind of in that pre-construction phase before we start working on the core and shell.
Okay.
And
it doesn't
Renee,
cover all of it. It is a helpful hand in some of that.
I certainly would like to give credit where credit is due here as well. Share with the group, if you would please, who all was involved in the process of acquiring and applying and then following it through on this.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was co-sponsored by Representative Callan and Steele. And then, of course, we our senators. So the 5th and 12th district, both districts were supportive of this and helping it get through to final approval.
Great. And I think you spoke in front of the legislator, didn't you?
I did a little bit of work on this, yes. Yep.
Right.
I spent
So are you saying it has not been approved yet?
No, it's
correct?
approved. The governor approved the budget this week, and so it is final. And it is in the budget, and it is under the title of Rural Access to Care and Community Connections.
Very good. Thank you for all the work that you and everyone involved with this, including our elected officials, and we certainly want to provide communication to them, thanking them. So
Yeah, we
however
will.
we can help in doing that, please do.
Thank you. We will. We appreciate it a ton. It's a big deal for our project. It is definitely one on the larger end of the commitments that were made. So we're very, very grateful and thankful to have that money.
Mhm.
All right, jumping into my CEO report. I wanted to shout out to Steve Wright and the marketing team and everybody else for their efforts in a successful champagne brunch. We were able to raise over $40,000 that will be earmarked to support children's rehab equipment. So our children's rehab program is growing tremendously, and there are some really great rehab equipment that kind of look like toys, but really they are equipment that help our kiddos. And so we'll be able to fully equip that program for our team. So we're very excited about that. We had over 110 people attend our event. And of course, we had many sponsors that contributed to that $40,000. So thank you to Steve Wright and everybody else for making that a successful donor event. Let's see. We also have some great shout outs for some of the community events. A reminder to the commissioners that there are many opportunities for you to engage. If you would like to help, we would appreciate you helping attend our community events, meeting our constituents, and talking about our services. So we list those at the end of my report. And so if you would like to attend, let Jen know and she'll get you connected with all of the logistics. We today, actually two times. We've had two fantastic meetings with the Snoqualmie tribe. The first one focused on our environmental review for the hub. Fantastic input from the tribe and good communications with that and our construction team. And then today, the executive team had the pleasure to meet with a couple of the tribal council members as well as their healthcare team and some of their other staff members. And we're really excited about working with them on a grant that they have that they needed help with a sponsor. So we are going to be working to implement a social worker to support some of their needs with their tribal community. And in addition, that will also open up some of that communication and ways that we can help support their healthcare needs as we build out our services with the hub. So it was fantastic that Patrick and Tammy were able to join me, and just great lines of communication, and really looking forward to continuing to support them. On into health system of choice. I wanted to, because I don't know, Director Poss is extremely humble, and she will never toot her own horn, but she was recognized by the City of Snoqualmie for her contributions on the Economic Development Committee. So she does represent our organization on that committee. She attends faithfully and is a great contributor and helping to have a positive impact. So thank you to Nicole and all the work that she does. This is just one of the many, many things that she does to really make sure that we're in the community, that we're supporting the community, and that we're bringing our services in a way that matter and make the most impact. So thank you, Nicole, for that. Not to mention the numerous community events and galas and other things that she attends on our behalf. Dr. Storm is on the line, and I want to talk a little bit about our provider retreat. So we had, this is our third year, Tammy, I believe, that we have had a provider retreat where we invite our employed physicians, we clear their schedules, and we do a full day, or in this case, a day and a half of education, training, team building, and strategic planning. And Dr. Storm, with the help of Ashley on our team, Ashley Anero, did a fabulous job with the retreat this year. And I'm going to invite Dr. Storm to say a few words about that.
Yeah, thank you, Renee. And, thank you, Ashley. Ashley helped really kind of facilitate, coordinate, plan, and arrange everything. And we couldn't have done this without Ashley. I had just started shortly after last year's provider retreat and heard about how great it was, and had just missed it. So this was my first. I think our focus was on leadership and trust and team building. And, several of our providers presented, Chantel Postiglione, Roxanne Hicks, Dr. Shaw, and just did an amazing job. Multiple of the leaders came and presented for their departments. Trisha Ralston, Steve Bradshaw with imaging, Lisa with rehab. And, I think everybody came away, with and Renee did an amazing job talking about strategic plan and planning, involving the providers in that. And it was, a really great opportunity to bond and grow together, for the providers to learn more about what's going on in the organization and have some say or input. And, just again, more education around, leadership and trust. So that went very well, and we will start planning on next year's retreat probably very soon. And look forward to continuing that in the future. Recruitment update. Recruitment, I think, has been very successful. I'm not sure if we shared at the last board meeting, but we have successfully signed an orthopedic surgeon and now general surgeon. That's pretty hot off the press. So, we're doing it. We're building the hub. We're building a surgery center, and we have more medical providers, specialists, and even surgeons coming on board. So it's been a big effort by a lot of people, and there's a lot of work to do, across the board. So I just really appreciate everybody's great work and efforts, and look forward to this next year.
Thank you, Dr. Storm. We do have some other surprises. We don't like to announce at the board meeting until we have contracts signed, but we do have a couple more coming for you guys. So we are really excited about that North Bend clinic getting open. It can't open soon enough to give us some capacity, and we're hoping that everything goes smoothly and you'll get to meet and greet these new faces really soon. All right, moving along in my report. I wanted to shout out one of the most important things for the commissioners to follow along with our strategic plan is our patient experience and our impact on our community in the way that we are the provider of choice. And so I included this month from the quality committee, the graph on patient satisfaction. I thought this was really interesting because at first glance, you're like, oh my gosh, there's one department that's not doing very well. But if you look closely, that is still at 86%. And the reason it is lower from most of the others is because we get so few returns on those. And so, oh, thanks, Jen. So it still is really, really good score that we are receiving there, but and it is due to the low number of returns on there. So, but overall, the teams are doing really, really well, and I'm very, very proud of those patient satisfaction scores. And Commissioner Herron and Carter, you will be joining the quality committee, I believe, here coming up pretty soon. And you'll get to hear more about how many surveys we receive and a little bit more specifics in each of those areas. So I'll look forward to you to report back to the board on that.
Does the survey submitted to the national, or who looks at the survey?
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good question, Emma. There are two types of surveys. There's one that is our requirement for CMS, and those are submitted to our national statistics.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that you're looking at here is our feed trail, which is more of an internal patient satisfaction that we track. It allows us to reach patients in different ways by text and email and other maybe kind of more electronic fashion that the traditional survey does not, which generally has to be paper form.
Oh, okay.
Yes, great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. In our people bucket, shout out to our Snoqualmie Spirit team and Spirit Committee who did a knockout job celebrating Hospital Week. And thank you to Commissioner Haugley for attending our barbecue and sampling some of Chef Blake's great food. We had a really good week recognizing our staff and appreciating them for all of their hard work. And I just wanted to recognize all the effort of the team that made it possible. So thank you for that. Under the community health needs area, a little bit more detail. And if you have any questions on our ambulatory expansion, as we kindly refer to as the hub. We are currently in the comment period for our SEPA. The city issued our SEPA over a week ago, so that's great. And we are just waiting for comment period to close. And then we are also just closing up final comments on our clearing and grading permit with the city. Once those final comments are cleared, we expect to get notice to proceed for that clearing and grading. What does all that mean? That means that we expect to, you officially refer to as mobilize the site, which means we're going to move in the heavy equipment and get ready to push dirt. And that looks like that will happen around the first week of June. The city has had a lot on their plate for the number of staff that they've had. So some of the turnaround times have been a little bit longer than we had hoped, but so far we are still hopeful for that kind of first part of June site mobilization. So exciting news. I think as soon as that equipment moves in and the fencing goes up, I think there'll be a lot more excitement and about this project. So we're very, very happy about that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Moving on to financial stewardship, I wanted to shout out to CFO Ritter. He has been working his tail off applying for grants, and he received a $100,000 grant from PACCAR to support our North Bend Clinic. And although when we're talking about our hub project, it doesn't seem like a lot, that is a lot of money to help support that clinic build in North Bend for the scale of that project. And so we were very thankful that he is finding these obscure grants that are out there in our community and getting them put to good use for the Snoqualmie Valley. So thank you to CFO Ritter. He and I are having a friendly competition about finding grants. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I'm only trailing by $2.9 million. So it's
well, good job, and thank you so much for all of the effort to both of you.
Yes,
and everybody
yes.
involved.
It's not the fun thing about the grants is that it's not just about a way for us to receive funds to support our projects, but it's a way for our community members and foundations to invest in this community and show their support on just a wonderful project. So we are really, really thankful for all those partnerships.
Yeah, it's the partnerships are the reasons we're getting more of the grants. So when one grantee starts to fund you, you have them as a what's the word that I'm looking for? A key stakeholder in there that other grantees look at and they say, oh, they're invested in this too, so we want to jump on board and do that too. So these grants just keep building and building for the projects that way.
Also important to note here too that our foundation plays a key role in our ability to receive some of these grants, because a lot of these funders like to see other community investment, and so we are able to recognize the foundation for the financial investments the foundation is making these projects. So that has also been helpful. In addition, a lot of times these grants ask how many of your board members contribute to the foundation and how many of your staff members contribute. And so thank you to everybody who is supporting our foundation, because that does really matter and helps with our fundraising capabilities. So thank you. All right. Are there any other questions about anything that was either in my CEO report or not in my CEO report? I'm happy to answer any of those before we move on to the strategic plan dashboard. All right. There's a lot of good stuff in there. So if I didn't cover it, please make sure you read it.
It was an action-packed month, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. And this month has been full of highs and lows. There's been some really stressful moments and some moments of celebration. Everyone is working really hard.
Hey, Renee, I've got a totally unrelated question.
Sure, yeah.
So we've gotten the news that Bartell's in North Bend and Snoqualmie Ridge will be closing.
Yes.
I've already gotten phone calls from people saying, what do I do? So could you tell us, or maybe Dr. Storm or somebody could tell us, what should we advise community members that are getting their prescriptions from those two closing pharmacies?
Good question, Jen. Thank you.
Yes, I'm gonna tee up Dr. Moore for this one, but while she's getting back on here, or unmuting, I'll let you know that I've also received that, and it's just, we are so excited that we do have retail pharmacy planned with our hub. It will be a great resource for this community. And we are looking at ways to be able to make sure that we can handle the volumes that may be coming with not having a lot of resources in our community. But Dr. Moore, would you like to address the other options for prescription refills?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Renee, and thank you, Commissioner Carter. I will say, though, none of them are probably going to be surprising as a resident of North Bend and of the Valley. So as you know, this does take away the last and final pharmacy in Snoqualmie proper, and we have a good year or so before we can open our own. But we're advising a couple of things. First, for patients who are already receiving or have received prescriptions in the past from North Bend, QFC, Safeway in North Bend, those will still be reliable. And then, of course, partnering with anyone that they choose to in Issaquah. We are encouraging our own employees, as always, and that includes any commissioners that would like to utilize our mail order. And so that is always a nice option, both for savings for the patient or the customer, but also just for ease. We will be exploring if there's anything we can do in the interim that makes more sense. If I could cram a pharmacy in and do it right, I assure you I would. And I did actually try that North Bend clinic that will open in the fall. And unfortunately, we can't get that one stood up in time. But we'll continue to find realistic options for you, or keep ahead of any news and share it with the commissioners at large and our community.
Thank you so much. What's the mechanics of it? Do you just take your old prescription bottle to QFC and say, can you fill this now?
Yeah, it's even better than that, Commissioner Carter. You can actually definitely call the new pharmacy, make them do all the work. You can, in fact, have your provider do it. So if you have a provider with us, send them a MyChart and say, well, this is the pharmacy I'm going to go with. If you're in a visit, we will be querying which pharmacy you would like us to switch to. You can also form a relationship with the pharmacy you're going to go to, give them your health insurance card, tell them who your PCP and where your medications have previously been filled. They'll pull them all over, and you should be set up in their system and ready to go.
Thank you, Dr. Moore.
You're welcome.
That's a great question, Commissioner Carter. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Any more operational questions for us? Otherwise, we will go to the Commissioner KPI dashboard. So we're doing well. Foundational elements, you'll hear the finance report here in a few minutes. We are on track. I would have liked to have had a little bit better month, but there's some good reasons why the outcome was the way it was. But we are definitely on track in the financial stewardship bucket. Community health, thanks to our outpatient teams, we are having strong volumes, and we are doing well and well on our way for our number of visits. Foundational elements. Oh, sorry, I mixed up financial and foundational. Foundational is opening that North Bend clinic. I talked with Dick earlier today, and he is happy with the progress, doing well. And we are on track, as far as we can tell, to definitely be open by year end. Probably much sooner than that if we've got physicians coming, so we'll need to be open sooner than the end of the year. Health system of choice, as I reported earlier, we're doing well, 92.5 for our patient satisfaction. And we did see a good dip in the right direction for our turnover this year, or this month, down to 30%. And so again, we don't expect to see a lot of variation in this because it is a 12-month assessment, but we're still holding below our target, so that is good. Also, in the financial stewardship, not really related to the dashboard here, but Patrick said not to jinx it, but I can't help it. We are really close to having our GNP, our guaranteed maximum price, on that core and shell. And I think we might even see a glimpse of it maybe as early as next week, which is great. So far, the bids that we're seeing come in have been at or below budget. So some really good news on that front. Given the current markets and the tariffs, we were concerned about that, but it looks like we are on track. So everything is tracking well from my side.
Okay, Renee, thank you very much.
You bet.
Any further
Thank
questions from Renee or for Renee from the rest of the board? Okay, thank you very much again. Let's go ahead. Patrick, would you go ahead and take on the Finance Committee information?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So taking a look at financials year to date, you can see that our swing bed revenue is about 18% above budget year to date. Inpatient is 21% under. It seems like a big number, but it's actually just one patient a day, and we have budgeted for 2 patients a day in there. So we have made that up, you can see on the swing bed side of things, but continuing to have spaces open for acute patients continues to help us serve our community, as well as drive volumes in the emergency room department, which you can see the ED department, we're about 30% over revenue for year to date of about $3 million. So that's been very strong. We're averaging almost 20 patients a day in the ED this year. So we budgeted for 15.5. So it is quite a good gain there. And then our clinic revenue, again, continues outpatient services strong and have 42% increase in revenue as well. So good gross patient revenues year to date. You can see our uncompensated care, which is our charity care and our bad debt allowances. It's about $2.2 million, which is actually favorable, that negative number by 29%. So we don't have as much bad debt and charity care budgeted to date as we anticipated. As the year goes along, we might see some more, especially in the fall when you start getting more visits and that coming through. So the big change you can see is in our contractual allowances, and it's about 52% above what we had last year, and as we've went through audit, we found that we were what's called under reserving for our contractual adjustments based on our different payers and our ability to collect. So we have increased that contractual allowance amount according to what those recommendations were from the auditors. But we will be able to get some more information from Epic as we are creating reports to narrow that down actually by financial class, and that number should be able to come down for us in certain areas where we know that we have high collectability versus places like self-pay where there is a lot of charity care and uncollectible funds in the self-pay bucket. Overall net patient, go ahead.
Patrick, thank you. I have a question. Someone might be looking at this and wondering where we used to have, I think we had it broken out previously for the urgent care specific information. And can you share with us where is that reflected?
It would be in clinic revenue, is included in clinic revenue.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So net patient services revenue for the year, we're up 5%, which is good. And our total operating revenue, you can see we're up 4% on the year. So strong volumes in the outpatient services, steady volumes on the inpatient has enabled us to have an operating net income of almost $500,000 year to date. So if you recall, the budget we passed in November was a break-even budget. So we are actually well ahead of our budgeted amounts and revenues and net income year to date. Taking a look at expenses, the major thing in expense was our professional fee continues to be a larger expense. Most of that is investment into the hub, and specifically with project manager and IT services through Scale Data. There we have increased that as we look to onboard providers in the hub, as well as add new service lines. That requires new build in our Epic EMR. And so we require some additional resources to help with that, steward that through as we prepare for the hub to come through. Any other questions on expenses? I would also mention that we did pay our incentive payment in April, which is great benefit to our employees, which is why the payroll expense was a little bit higher in April. Thanks to the being able to meet the goals that were set by the board for 2024, we were able to pay out that incentive compensation to the employees. So thank you for that. And that's why you see that little bit of an extra expense in employee payroll and benefits for April.
Yeah, Patrick, I wanted to pull on that as well. Thank you very much for both you and Sean and whoever else on the team is involved in your write-up that you push out to the board on highlights. It really helps a lot. During our finance meeting this month, and like every month, we have a lot of great questions presented to you and the team, and I appreciate all the time that you put into this and the explanation that keeps us all up to date on what's going on, so that we understand and we can convey when we're asked questions by anybody to the best of our ability, and certainly know where to get the answers. But again, thank you, and thrilled to be able to do that. A little north of $600,000 in the incentives to the employees on job well done.
Commissioner Hardwick, can I ask a question?
Please, Commissioner Herron.
Yeah, Patrick, you mentioned about the professional fees. Most of our expenses is taken by professional. How much percentage of professional fees utilizes versus FTEs? Because we're trying to build a team of for FTEs, our professional teams. So how much professional fees are outside agencies that we're utilizing?
Yeah, so the contract labor expense line, that is our agency staff. So we still have agency staff on in the endo unit, as well as nights in on the med-surg floor, and some in, I believe, some in clinics, Dr. Mora, if I'm correct there. So overall, for total expenses, you can see it's just about 2% of total expenses. It's not a huge amount. But when you're looking at your labor amount, that yes, that is where we're looking for opportunities to do that. We do have a review going on of nurse pay and CNA pay as part of the market rate adjustment that we'll be doing in 2025. So that we believe have a strategy going forward. We'll be able to announce that in the next couple of months that will probably help us move in the right direction away from that contract labor expense. And CNE Ralston can talk a little bit more about that later when we have that available.
Okay, I think because my guess on this is if we use too much of the contract labor, how do we stabilize our FTEs, our building our team up? And so that makes it there to build ownership rather than contract people that are, more, I wouldn't call that they don't have stakeholders, So
there's a couple of different kinds of contract labor. I'm sorry to interrupt. There's a couple of different kinds of contract labor. One is one that is a stable part of our workforce that we plan on being contract labor. And then the others are maybe a better term is called travelers. And so the travelers are the ones that are here for a short period of time and go, which I think is what you're most concerned about. We've actually reduced quite a bit of that. And the night shift nursing is a trouble area for us, and therapy is also a trouble area, but we're working on those. And as Patrick mentioned, we have a strategy to reduce the nursing with increased rates and wages. But then some of that other contract labor, we want it to be contract labor. We actually intend for it to be that way, like our IT department, our security, and a couple of folks in our housekeeping too. But they're long-term staff, and you wouldn't even know that they weren't part of our team. They're just part of the fabric.
Yeah, we don't look at them as separate. They're a lot of them are embedded with us actually in the hospital as well, and we have good relationships with those vendors, partner-like relationships where they've been responsive in that way. And so Scale Data is one for our IT and informatics services, and of course TrueBridge for our billing and coding services that we have there. So those expenses, that is a strategy that we have to continue to outsource those services. There's a number of reasons. They have expertise in areas that we are not able to find locally and maintain and keep their education up for that as well. It also enables us to not have a single point of failure for any of those positions for that. So if, for example, PTO and things like that, being part of a larger pod where they have other staff that they can add to us without adding an extra expense of that beyond what we normally pay, enables us to have full support every day for that. So it's really important that way. It's beneficial to the district. They really are good partnerships that we have on the IT side, and even TrueBridge has stepped up recently, as you will see in our AR days going down in that direction. So it's a challenge sometimes, but they have been responsible, and we will continue to utilize them.
Yeah.
Emma, it's a way for us to reduce risk for the district as well, because if you only have one person that knows that content knowledge and something happens to them or they leave the organization, then you don't have any depth in your bench. And so some of these areas we purposefully do that. Security is another good example. We couldn't hire enough staff to have enough depth in our bench to be able to cover when people call out or if they need extra vacation time. And so this is really a solid strategy. So you can't look at all of that contract labor and see that it's a negative. Only part of that is high turnover.
Right. I guess my concern is sometimes the ownership is really important, and the loyalty.
It is.
And so there's a lot of risk to it if we are considering a higher percentage of those contracts. So, but I do understand. Thank you for the explanation.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner Heron.
Any other questions on expenses and revenues? So taking a look at the balance sheet, you can see cash year to date there, that third line. We're up a little bit over $2.8 million, just about $2.8 million, I should say, for year to date. good cash position to be in, even with all of our extra expenses that we have with the extras, probably not the wrong word, our investments that we have with the hub that are going forward. We're still adding to our cash balances. And this is outside of the LTGO funds. So this is above and beyond, because you can see the $39 million that we had 12/31. That was after we got the 17 million in the LTGO funds. So we've added $2.8 million in cash year to date alone. So that's a good number. It's two different things. We are getting more efficient on the rev cycle side. We're getting the cash in for our AR that's outstanding. And B, we are continuing to have the volumes and generating the revenue from services providing to our patients here. So it is a very strong position that we're in cash-wise we're going. So it's a bit getting used to, because we haven't been that way before. So it's quite refreshing to see that cash line keep going up, despite the fact that our expenses have actually increased about $30,000 a day over where they were at the beginning of the year, and we're still generating cash. So it's a good, the system is working well.
You've got a combination of a lot of things coming together, obviously, as you've highlighted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see we have invested about $3.4 million in construction in progress, and that's 2.2 million over where we were at the end of the year. So that's our all of the capital investments that we have, which is MRI and mammogram, and as well as the hub project. So really helping build the infrastructure that we need to continue to provide the care for the patients. So our total assets, you can see, has gone up just a little over $2 million for year to date. We do have some increased current expenses, and most of that is the current portion of our long-term debt there, our accrued interest expense for that. You can see that $1.1 million. So total current liabilities are about 10.3. Total liabilities are about $111 million. That's, of course, with the LTGO bonds that we received in the end of December. But if you go down, the good thing is that we have improved our net position year to date. We were at a negative 9.2 million. Now we're at negative 8.8 million. So that is moving in the right direction there for the district. Any questions on balance sheet?
I like to say where volume meets good expense control in combination with great AR, this is what you get.
Yeah. So see, cash flow, net cash from operating activities is about $4.1 million that we've generated through patient services. You can see our investing activities. This is our spend on our construction in progress, and as well as our right to use assets, which is the leased assets that we have there. So those investments there are about 2.5 million. And then financing, we have inflows of about 1.1 million. That's the asset side of our right to use assets, and of course our county property tax revenue of 1.4 million. So again, almost $2.8 million in cash this year. And we have some of the trends. You can see AR below budget and well below where it was a year ago. Climbed up a little bit in April, but still in the 50s. So good days in AR. Cash is steady. FTEs are steady. And what net patient revenue is down, but we had a really huge month in January, which makes that graph look kind of crazy skewed in that way. But you can see it's well above where it was a year ago and above budget as well. Any questions? All right, Dr. Moore will talk about volumes then.
Happy to. Thank you, Patrick. All right, commissioners, as always, I try and pull out what are the most salient points for you or one that I think you're going to care the most about. But please interrupt me, ask questions, whatever you would like to know. And I would be remiss if I didn't start with a request from our controller, who's very detail oriented and takes great pride in her slides. These will be branded next month. So my apologies. We will get the brand on there. Shauna, I promised you I would try to remember, and I did. So we love Shauna. We love her detail. We're very grateful for the entire finance team. So, okay. On this first page, I wanted to start in particular with ED. I thought maybe one of you would ask me why volumes are down. And I wanted to draw your attention to April in general. If you look even last year, April's a slump month. It is a month where we start to see URIs or upper respiratory infections, colds and flu and that sort of thing trend down. And that is indeed what happened here. So while volumes overall were down relative to the first quarter, they are up over last year. And so that is encouraging. It's a good thing to see. It makes Abby quite proud as well. But it is a bit of a slump, and we think seasonality is the reason there. Jumping, you'll also see in lab that lab trends tend to follow both decline in clinic volumes and a decline in ED. Having said that, lab had the highest number of outpatient visits per day on average in April than ever in the district. So each month I get the privilege of sharing these record-breaking highs with you or record-breaking details with you, and that's another one. So congratulations to Manager Kelly Miller and team. Lab's working really hard. Okay, let's go on down to endo, bottom line there. Love that line. Endo shot up. We had a very busy month in April in endoscopy. And Manager Pand was clear to point out that the number that he reported did not exactly match what you see in the finance packet because in some cases we have endoscopy, which can be an upper, which is called an EGD, or a lower, which is called colonoscopy. And so indeed, those are both billed as separate visits, but are counted as one. So we did have a banner month in endo and very proud of the team for that volume. Any other questions from this slide?
Interesting. A big shout out to Endo. That's interesting from last month.
Big shout out from Endo, right? So they are doing a lot of hard work. We have a supervisor, Stephanie Gilman, who works with Will and the team. She is just phenomenal. They are all working really hard. And of course, Slava, our PA in the GI clinic, and Dr. Chin, our procedurist. Very excited as well to welcome Dr. Rappaport, a physician who'll hit our team later in the year, who will be doing endoscopy, we hope Mondays and Tuesdays, which will give us 5 days of endoscopy volume.
So how many providers do we have in that department, including your colonoscopy and all the other stuff? How many providers in that department?
Right now, Commissioner, sure. So right now, Commissioner Herron, we have one PA, Slava. Slava works in what is called our GI clinic. So he does consultations in the clinic. And then we have Dr. Chin. Dr. Chin's been with the district for quite a while. He does our procedures in the endoscopy suite. So he spends his days doing some consults, but mostly procedures. Adding Dr.
Are they all full-time? Are they all full-time?
They are indeed, yes. So they are full-time for their equivalent. So Dr. Chin, I believe, he may be 4 days a week, but he's just 3 days in procedure. Dr. Rappaport, whom I mentioned, he will be in endoscopy suite a couple days a week because he'll also be doing surgery, as a surgeon should be doing, and then also doing consultations.
Okay.
Any additional questions for me on this slide?
Thank you, Dr. Moore.
You're welcome. Let's flip on down. Thanks, Jen. All right. Another great, just kind of a shout out here is Lisa Childress and her team. If you look at outpatient therapy visits, that number is gorgeous and well above both the trend line and last year. So Lisa and her team are working very hard and doing a great job in the outpatient setting. You will see the inpatient line, however, is not holding up yet where we need it to be. It's not at budget and not for last year. That is in essence, in part because of total visits that are counted because of recreational therapy as well. We did have a reduction in force in recreational therapy. And so there's been a bit of a change in FTE there. So a little bit of a difference on the inpatient side. Any questions for me there on outpatient therapy? Hearing none. If we switch on over to diagnostic imaging or our imaging studies, if you look at ultrasound, it's right following that trend line nearly exactly. So doing great on ultrasound and MR. CT was down a little bit, but again, we see that with acuity cases in the ED that are decreasing in complexity, it will often trend down with that. And in X-ray, interestingly enough, it is following trends in April for actual for 2024. Again, thought to be with seasonality or fewer sick people, upper respiratory. So those chest X-ray numbers decline.
Dr. Moore, it's worth a shout out on radiology. That these are just incredible volumes. That team is doing really well. And although that X-ray one is down, it still is above last year, and as are all of the others. So great work that team is doing. We anticipate seeing these continue to rise as we get the new MRI on deck later this year. And then I didn't mention in my CEO report because it just happened this week, but we do have construction happening with the mammo that was approved by the city of Snoqualmie, and it is getting installed. So we are moving along.
Are the numbers on the side? I just want to clarify because I see the graph going up and down, but I'm always curious to see the number of visits, how many people really come to our clinics. Like the MRI visit on the number on the side, like we have like 10, 30, 50. Are those the numbers of visits that people
It's the
come?
number, correct. So if you look at the top of your graph there, Emma, it says MRI visits.
Yes.
So that is the number of visits, and it corresponds to the number on the left-hand side.
Okay, the same thing with the inpatient. There's like 100, 1,000.
Is
that?
Those are visits for therapy, correct?
For the day or for the month?
For each month has its own dot.
Okay. But the total cumulative number is what we have on the left-hand side, correct? That's for the month.
That is the number on the side correlates to the number for each dot.
For each dot.
And
okay.
you can also find these volumes in your financial packets as well. Those volumes are reported by the finance team as well.
Yeah, because in the past I'm used to looking at number of visits, number of people, number of beds. So
so this is the same exact thing. It's just presented in a graph so that it's a little bit easier to see the trends and how it compared year over year and to budget.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your question.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Herron. It's an important question in cases like with lab. It doesn't mean people, it means tests. And so sometimes there is a difference. So it was a really relevant question to ask. When we go to the last slide of volumes, let's take a look at ED, inpatient or observation, and then inpatient. You will see that inpatient did have a small increase there. Commissioner Herron, you can see that volume though on this graph is very small, right? We're looking at 2, but we will take it. So because again, it's an increase over last year and an increase over budget. And so it is important to look at that left-hand side at what the volume is you're rating it against.
And Dr. Moore, I think also further explanation, if you read the top there, it says average daily census for inpatient. So that's not 2 patients for the month. That's an average, what we call an ADC of 2. So we average 2 patients per day.
Per day. Oh, that,
Per day. Which could be 6 on a day. I think that Manager Paris just reported the other day, and Tricia Ralston, you need to correct me. I think we had 5 in a day, which is big for us to have that many
Mhm.
inpatients. So
You're correct.
that's a great thing.
You are correct, Tammy. Thank you. And continuing to grow.
Yeah, really exciting. That team is just doing such an amazing job and have a great culture as well. Any questions for me on volumes?
Swing
Okay,
beds
thank
is
you for your
low.
time.
Oh, well.
Okay.
Thank you.
And with that, no further questions on volumes. With that, I think we're on to the warrants, unless I'm stand corrected. I believe I'm correct. Okay. With that, I'd like to go ahead and call for approval of the warrants for April 2025 in the dollar amount of $5,639,205. Can I have an approval for those warrants?
Did we have a 5-week period for?
We had a 2 pay period.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
And incentive comp.
And incentive. Yep.
Okay. I move to accept payroll disbursements. Pay
Thank
period
you,
7,
Commissioner
8.
Herron. Okay, thank you. Do I have a second?
A second.
I'll go ahead and call for the question. All those in favor of the approval of the
Back to the
motion that's been made and
MOB.
seconded? David, did you have something?
Yeah, I think we have some warrants related to the MOB on this too.
We do. That
Yep.
is correct.
600,000, I believe, in incentive comp and
Correct.
probably close to $1 million in MOB. That's my guess.
I know it's 610,000 for employee incentive comp, is what I saw in the report. And I don't know about the hub there. Patrick, if you wanted to speak to that.
Yeah, it's roughly about a good question. I don't want to give you a bad number off the top of my head, but it's north of 300,000, but less than $1 million. So I know that's a big range, but that's where it is. I can get you that exact number. I can send that out.
Well, the reason why I point that out is it looks so big.
Yes.
It's because there are other things that normally are not on a monthly warrant.
Correct.
Ledger.
Yep. Thank you, David. Okay, I had Commissioner Herron made the initial motion. Did I have a second?
Commissioner Carter, second.
Commissioner Carter, thank you. I'll go ahead and call for the vote. Please signify by saying aye for the approval that's been made and seconded for approval of the warrants for the month of April 2025 in the amount of $5,639,205. Aye.
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 Okay. Opposed? Abstaining, let the record show that Commissioner Norris is not present. Thank you everybody. With that, we have a special presentation on Leadership Rocks. I found this to be very interesting and looking forward to hearing more about it.
Great. Well, I am excited to invite Nicole Pass to present tonight. She is excited to share some of the work that we have been working on in our people bucket. So recognizing our staff, and we've previously shared with you our BOLD Awards, which is the employee to employee recognition program. And this is one other additional layer and level, and is just so fun. And I'm going to stop talking and let Nicole tell you about it. But Nicole, if I can't help myself, I'll jump in.
Feel free to jump in anytime.
Okay,
Hello,
great.
everyone, and thank you for having me. And about a year ago, we launched our new mission, vision, and values. And since then, we have been very intentional about finding ways that we can live those values out, not just in words or on paper, but in our everyday actions. And I'm really excited to share one of those ways we're doing that through this new initiative. This program is really designed to celebrate employees who truly embody our BOLD values, whether it's building trust with a patient, leading with innovation, or supporting a teammate behind the scenes. We want to be able to call those out and celebrate those small moments, because those small moments are really what make a really big difference. So here's how it works. Each leader will receive 4 recognition rocks per quarter to give out. And we can actually go to the next slide. I'll give you a sneak preview of what they look like, and we'll go through the rest of these details there. Here they are. So these are super fun, and they're just kind of fun to feel and pass around. We had to, we shared them at our leadership team meeting, and we had to make sure we counted them all and got them all back because people were very excited about these. We each get 4 a quarter, 1 for each of the values, but there's a catch. So we cannot give out a rock to an employee within our own department. And that approach really encourages collaboration across teams and helps build stronger connections throughout the organization. And so we were very intentional about that, getting leaders out and about, so that they can see the great things happening in other departments too, because we might see something that, you know, I might see something wonderful happening in the lab that Kelly's not there to see, and then I can help celebrate that person. So this also will, sorry, Renee, were you going to say something?
Sorry, I was going to jump in. Sorry, I was waiting for you to take a breath. I wanted to just add too that it's really important to me to teach our leaders a culture of gratitude and learning how to appreciate the service of others to the organization. And sometimes it's easy to recognize and see what happens right around you, but this requires our leaders to think differently about how they're going to recognize staff. So they have to use the tools of either maybe there's a shout out at the daily huddle, or maybe there's another leader that is saying about something that went good in their department, or maybe there's something that gets posted in the weekly. So I'm really, really challenging our leaders to embody and embrace that culture of gratitude. And this is one way that we're trying to stretch them to do that. So it's just as much a leadership exercise as it is recognizing our staff.
So that the leaders, sorry, may I ask a question? Does the leaders just narrowly designed for in-house leaders, or are they the only ones that would be able to provide this rock to a certain member?
Yeah, so it's the managers, directors, and executives that receive these.
So and they don't get to keep not included to see if we notice anything very spectacular or special. Can we also be included to provide rock for this particular?
Yes. So that's a great call out, Emma. So if you are not a recipient of the rocks to give away, there are several ways you can give somebody a rock. So the executives all have one. I do not. I have a different one. Nicole will tell you about that. But you can mention that to another executive or to another manager or anybody, because sometimes they're looking for other ways to recognize. And so that is another great way that they can have input into how do they find people to recognize. So I encourage you, if you do see something that represents one of these core values, to seek out one of our leaders and ask them if they would be willing to share one of their rocks.
Absolutely.
I know we're not in operations, but we do connect with some of the employees there. So if we see something unique and bold and daring, and I think that the commissioner should also be part of this, where we can also recognize those employees. So thank you.
Yes, you absolutely can. Another thing that that the commissioners can do, that Commissioner Carter will often do, she will send me an email and she said, I had this amazing experience and here's the name of the staff person and would you please recognize them? I will then either write them a handwritten thank you or submit them in the BOLD program. So you guys can influence how these are given out and staff are recognized. So I appreciate you mentioning that, Emma. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And we are still encouraging that peer-to-peer also. And if we run out of rocks, then we'll also submit the BOLD award. And so whether you give out a rock and then submit a BOLD award with it, any staff member can submit a BOLD nomination for a staff member, a fellow nomination. And so there's a lot of ways to capture these. But yes, Emma, anytime that you want to recognize someone, put in a good word and we might have a spare rock to give out to that person.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, next slide, please. So I guess we sort of jumped ahead on this one, so we can go to the next slide too. So if someone collects 4 rocks, then they get to exchange their rocks for special iRock swag that they can be very proud to wear throughout the organization. This is special swag that will only be given to them, and it's nicer items like jackets and vests with that special logo, and that's just a fun and a meaningful way to show the appreciation to them. We've got lots of questions about this, so if they want to keep their rocks because they're very proud of them, they can keep the rocks. They also don't have to collect one of each of the rocks, so any 4 rocks will do, and we'll be happy to celebrate them. And we have another extra special touch where they can skip ahead, pass go, and collect their swag with just 1 rock. So next slide, please. All right, I guess I did this slide already. Here we go. This is the special CEO rock. So Renee gets this special rock. She only gets 8 per year. And if you get one of these rocks from her, then you are embodying every single one of our values, and you get to jump straight ahead and get your swag. You do not have to have 4. This is the 1 rock.
This is great.
And Renee gave out her first rock just this week. Do you want to talk about that, Renee?
I did. I thought this was going to be so much fun that I got this special rock. And what I learned is it is a curse because there's so much pressure to decide, like, I only get 8. And there's so many deserving staff members. And so my first rock went to an employee who had an amazing nomination for Employee of the Year. And there were so many great nominations, it was hard to pick. And I felt really guilty that this person wasn't recognized during that ceremony because they also exemplify all these core values. So when my rock came, I'm like, I know who's getting my first rock. So I was able to give Tom, who is our sous chef and works under Chef Blake, the very first rock. Oh yeah, there's an awesome photo of us delivering his rock. Jen, I don't know if you have the other one, but there was one where I was holding the rock in my hand and I said, I came to give you something very special. And Chef Blake was there and they were right in the middle of service too. And I held open my hand and he looked at it and he goes, oh, and the look on his face, he was so excited. And I actually wasn't sure if he was more excited or Chef Blake, because Chef Blake was so excited that somebody on his team received it. So it was really special. We took some great photos. Dr. Moore, I know you were able to give out one of your rocks this week too. Do you want to tell about that?
I did give out one of my rocks today. So to a equally deserving and equally humble, and I made him massively uncomfortable with it when I called him down the hall. In fact, he thought he was getting fired, even though he doesn't report to me. So I was able to provide a rock, building trust to Ron Bennett, no other than Ron Bennett. You all know Ron Bennett. He is an institution now at SVH. We are so happy to have him continue to serve on the team. He is culture. He has just blossomed in that role, and I was really excited I got to give a rock away today, and I got to do it with Trisha.
And he was a huge part of helping form this program as well. I will add that. And then kudos to Renee because she got away with 8 rocks, but we were only going to give her 4. So that is the power of your CEO's negotiation skills shining there.
Oh, there we go. There's this. It's an awesome photo.
Best photo.
How often do you give the rocks? Daily or weekly, or how many times per day?
Yeah,
so whatever you can get rid of it right away, I guess.
So each leader gets 1 core value, so 4 rocks per quarter, and they can give them out whenever they want. I get 8 per year, and I have to make them last the entire year.
Yeah.
So there's no schedule. We're encouraging leaders not to hoard them. We want them to give them out and get them out there. But it's just really when they're inspired or when they recognize that somebody needs to be recognized.
If you've given all your rock before the end of the year, that's it. You don't get any more.
That's right. They don't get any more. Nope.
Yeah. And then for leaders, we get 4 each quarter. So the first of the quarter will bring some rocks to leadership and pass them out. And we are hoping by then that the prior rocks are already gone.
Okay.
Great. And I hope we have photo ops with the swag that they select.
Yes, it's great because this way the person can choose something that's meaningful to them, and it will have a iRock logo on it, which will be very special. And then for the commissioners that attended our employee recognition event earlier this year, all these individuals will be included in that special event, the people that are receiving these rocks. So it'll be a great way to involve more people and have more of our great team recognized.
And we really hope this is obvious, but these are rocks like the rocks in our logo. I know everyone caught that, right?
Quite obvious. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you, Nicole.
Okay. Very good. Thank you all so much. With that, I'm going to move into commissioner comment and Commissioner Herron.
It's very interesting. I am so impressed about all this innovative ideas about UROC employee recognition program. It really makes very appropriate because ROC means solid. We got to be a real solid team here. And solid in many ways, you know, in your work, in your professional life. So I think it's very impressive. I'm amazed with all the projects that we are doing and moving forward on, and I can see the bright horizon ahead of us. Thank you. Thank you for all that you do, by the way, Renee and your staff. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner Herron. Commissioner Carter.
So Nicole, I was telling Renee that you do the work of 5 people, 10 people. You know, it's amazing how you have taken this grain of an idea about the brand, and now I can't imagine life without it. You know, the rocks, the river rocks, the live boldly. Thank you for this. It is really just a great way to usher in the new Snoqualmie Valley Health. So I'm really appreciative of your work. Super appreciative also to Renee and to Patrick for shaking those trees and getting some funding. We are indeed, you know, the community hospital for Snoqualmie Valley, and it's great to have some public support. You know, and huge shout out to Representatives Cowan and Steele for their support. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Carter. Mr. Spikers.
Yeah, congrats on the grants. Fantastic. Like to hear and see a lot of those. I'm very happy with that. And again, great job. 2 more words. Rock on.
Nice close, David. Nice close. Thank you so much. It is, as we've been saying, I think just about each month this year, that there's such a momentum building and such a culture that is palpable. And as I look at the screen of all the people in attendance that I can see, I can't think of anybody that wouldn't be eligible for IROC. You know, I can't. I mean, it's fantastic, and you know the tone in which it's received and it's presented is so appropriate, and it just speaks to the employee incentive payment that we made this last month. It just, you work hard. You know, I always used to say, or have said in my past, you work hard, play hard, and make a lot of money. But you know, it isn't just about making money. That money is to some degree a measurement, a reality check of who we serve. And if you look at our volume charts, we are serving more than we've ever served. And it's showing up in the financials, as I said before, when great volume meets expense control with tremendous AR discipline. And it's just a great success, for a recipe for success, I guess is what I would say. And thank you all so much. I wanted to draw attention to, on page 7 of our CEO report this month, in the spirit of, we're all kind of drinking through a fire hose. My gosh, look at the calendar, you guys. I just wanted to, I won't itemize all the things that we have coming up for as a board, everything going on, but please take a look at it, that you're on track with those things that are listed on page 7, all of those different items coming up well into September here. So with that, I'll go ahead and thanks everybody again, and have a great holiday weekend. Jen, welcome back stateside. It's have a great holiday weekend. Be safe, everybody, and thanks again.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody. Have a
everybody.
good
Have a good weekend.
Thank you,
Good
team.
night.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Appreciate it.